You too. What's cracking with you, man? Your fifth favorite OG back. We back with another The Process video. When you think about Easter, right? What do you really think about? You think about candy, right? I mean, candy, spending time with family. You think about that. But when it comes to a certain kind of candy, what is it? Because to me, it has to be the cadbury egg. You know what I mean? It has to be that. You know how they got the chocolate, then they got the cream inside, and then when you crack it open, it somehow looks like an actual egg. You know what I'm saying? I never got that science. I never seen, or never, still me, I never knew what the process was. You know what I'm saying? But now, y'all get to join me, and we get to find out what the process is of a cadbury egg and how it's made. You know what I mean? So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, and that right there, that's not junk. So trust me, I'm not a dirty person. That's just a bunch of, stuff that I'm thinking about throwing away. But let's get into it. I said,
every single day, Cadbury's factory in Birmingham produces 1.5 million chocolate eggs. 500 million a year. From one factory. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Each egg depends on a temperature window so narrow that 1 degree off ruins the entire batch. Not the flavor.
Really?
The physics.
Yeah,
Cocoa
okay.
butter has 6 crystal forms, and only one gives you the glossy shell, the clean snap, and enough shrinkage to pop out of the mold without cracking. Miss the window, and the surface turns chalky, sticks to the mold, and breaks apart. Millions of eggs. Binned. So how does one factory hit that target every single time, and what part of this story will you want to tell someone next Easter? Long before chocolate existed, eggs were a symbol of rebirth. Persians dyed eggs during Nowruz to welcome spring. Medieval Europeans decorated real eggs after 40 days of fasting during Lent, when both eggs and meat were forbidden. When Lent ended, red dyed eggs became the first gift people exchanged. Not because eggs tasted good, but because they were the one thing off limits for 40 days. In the 18th century, the French and Germans came up with something better. They crafted eggs from papier-mâché and filled them with chocolate dragées, tiny sugar-coated candies.
Okay.
The chocolate egg was born, but it wasn't something anyone could afford. Only aristocrats and the wealthy exchanged them as novelty gifts during the spring season. In 1875, Cadbury sold its first chocolate eggs. Dark, rich chocolate stuffed with chocolate-coated almonds, packaged as an adult luxury gift. Not cheap, not mass-produced, but the real turning point came in 1963. Cadbury introduced something no one had ever made before. A chocolate egg with fondant cream inside. White like the albumin, orange-yellow like the yolk. It looked exactly like a real egg cut in half.
That it did.
In 1971, the product was renamed the Cadbury Creme Egg.
Okay.
From a luxury item for adults, it became the thing sitting in every British child's Easter basket. Everything starts with chocolate, but not the kind you melt in the microwave and pour into a mold. Chocolate for creme eggs must go through tempering. And this is where things get absurdly precise. Tempering controls temperature to force cocoa butter crystals into one specific structure called Form 5. Cocoa butter has 6 crystal forms. Form 1 through 6, but only Form 5 gives a glossy surface, a clean snap, and enough shrinkage to release from the mold without cracking. Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate is melted at 45 degrees Celsius to destroy all existing crystals. Then cooled to 27 degrees to seed new Form 5 crystals. Then raised back to 31 to 32 degrees. That exact range. No higher, no lower. If the temperature drifts even slightly, the wrong crystal form takes over. The surface turns dull and white, a defect called bloom, sticks to the mold, breaks unevenly, and loses its snap. Entire batch binned. Once tempered, chocolate is pumped into polycarbonate molds shaped like half eggs. The molds sit on a vibrating table, so chocolate spreads into a thin, even shell about 2 to 3 millimeters thick.
Yep.
Constant. If you touched the mold, it'd feel like a phone buzzing in your hand. Excess chocolate drains out, leaving only the shell. Molds pass through a cooling tunnel held at 10 degrees Celsius. Shells harden in minutes, contracting just enough to separate cleanly from the mold. Meanwhile, the filling is being prepared on a parallel line. Sugar, glucose syrup, and water are cooked together to about 116 degrees Celsius, then beaten while cooling into smooth white fondant, sweet enough to make your teeth ache. The texture is thick and glossy, like warm toothpaste. That's the fake egg white. A portion is separated and dyed orange-yellow with food coloring to become the fake yolk. The color has to be dark enough to look real, but not so dark that it looks like wall paint. White fondant is piped into each half shell. Then a precise drop of orange fondant is placed right in the center. No mixing. No touching the sides. Bite into the egg and you see 2 distinct layers, white surrounding yellow, like a boiled egg sliced in half.
Yep.
2 halves are joined with an ultra-thin layer of hot chocolate as glue, applied by a roller that spins across the rim of each shell. The seal must be airtight. Fondant leaking out jams the wrapping machine. Eggs pass through a final cooling tunnel, chocolate contracts, surface shines. Then, wrapping machines dress each egg in signature purple, red, and yellow foil at thousands per minute. Stand next to the line, and you hear foil rustling nonstop like rain on a tin roof. From liquid chocolate to foil-wrapped egg, under 1 hour.
Damn.
Bourneville Factory in Birmingham runs this nonstop through production season. Every day, 1.5 million eggs roll off the line. Every year, 500 million. That's roughly 17,000 tons of chocolate a year, heavier than 2 Eiffel Towers combined.
Damn.
All those eggs are sold within 4 months,
Yep.
January through Easter. Once Easter passes, creme eggs vanish from shelves. The Easter candy market in the US alone tops $5 billion a year. And the Cadbury creme egg is the best-selling product in Britain during that window.
Really?
From one factory in Birmingham, this palm-sized egg now shows up in over 30 countries. Wherever spring arrives, Cadbury creme egg is already there. Then in 2015, Cadbury did something no one saw coming.
What's that?
They quietly changed the shell from dairy milk chocolate to a cheaper standard cocoa mix. No announcement, no explanation. Britain found out anyway. And Britain lost its mind. Online petitions, boycott hashtags, tabloid headlines as if someone had committed treason against the crown. Cadbury shrugged and said the new shell tasted fine. But the British didn't need it to taste better, they needed it to taste the same. Because some things you don't buy for the flavor, you buy them for the memory. And that's still not the strangest part of this story. Think about it. Humanity spent thousands of years going from a red-dyed chicken egg to a fondant-filled, foil-wrapped chocolate egg mass-produced at 32 degrees Celsius. The technology changed completely. The materials changed completely. The scale changed completely. But the act didn't change at all. Still one person handing another something small, sweet, and beautiful when spring arrives. Still a way of saying the cold is over, here's something sweet for you. Nobody needs a chocolate egg to survive. Yet we make 500 million a year. Not for nutrition, not for necessity, for the same reason Persians dyed eggs 3,000 years ago. It's because after a long stretch of cold and dark, humans need a small, beautiful thing to mark the turn. A child on the grass, Easter Sunday morning, peeling back purple foil, taking a bite, white fondant spilling from the corner of their mouth, eyes wide open. 500 million a year. Every one of them made to disappear on a morning just like that. 32 degrees Celsius? 1.5 million eggs a day. Each one carries a system precise down to the crystal, and a tradition older than any factory. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.
Word. Hey, look though, that's actually kind of interesting. That is interesting. I mean, I knew it was only a few ingredients, but it's the process. And then to know that they do it all year long, is crazy. But it makes sense. It makes sense for the simple fact that they got to make sure that they have it ready for when Easter comes around again next year. I mean, it definitely makes sense. You know, I learned something. Y'all learned something. Shit, hey, we learned something together. You know what I'm saying? But like, share, subscribe. The link to the original video will be in the description, like it is always. But until next time, it's your fifth favorite OG, Magic TV, and we go. Deuces.